Ghost, I think, is a type of commodity. Any plot of land in Bangkok, let's say, they would have like this spirit house. No? So that's for sure. In department store as well.
I mean, there's one here around the corner, another one in there, like all those kind of tiny temples, and I call them temples for a reason, because they are kind of a replica in miniature of some vernacular architecture that are populating the country, human sizes in most of the case. Those places are very alive, in a sense you can see a lot of people that are going there to make offerings for the spirits, to praise the gods, and they somehow populated with a lot of colorful goods, edible candies, a lot of miniatures that are representing some kind of animalistic semblances. And so, I mean, in a way, they recreate the environments for the ghosts. And so you can, and like if you consider the amount of spirit houses that are populating the city, you can almost say that Bangkok is populated by those spirits, by those ghosts that are everywhere, in every corner.
Ghost, like normally, like ghosts would try to tell you something. That's why ghosts come to you to tell you something.
How the spirit houses, for example, are actually constructing the urban fabric, and how they should be used with awareness in the contemporary construction of space. So really, what does it mean constructing a spirit house nowadays? I mean, how can we consider even the urban planning around them, or like how can a contemporary urban planning must and has to still foresee the construction of those? In the Western world, like we have let's say a very big boundary in between what's sacred, what's spiritual, and what's not. In a sense, no one will dare to insert a spiritual sign, like let's say into a mall or into an amusement park or into a skywalk. In a sense, there are certain typologies that are used for spiritual purposes, and that's it. We have if you want in a way, spirituality is always seen in the Western world as something that needs to intimidate. While in here, they embrace a bit more this kind of a pop aesthetic of more horizontally shared, if you want, even democratic flavor of a possible spirituality. In a sense, but it's rooted in a lot of rituals. Like if you think that, for example, they allow people to go to a mechanic fortune teller instead than a real human being, and where you go there, you insert a coin, and you hear a recorded voice of someone that is telling you rules or things to follow. I mean, for us it would be completely inconceivable. While in here it's widely accepted. Or you go, in a way, into places that are sacred, but still super joyful, super playful. Sometimes they look like really playgrounds for kids, with toys, with neon lights. Anyway, this is accepted. This is not seen, let's say, the boundary in between where we are allowed to talk about the spiritual construction of space and where we are not, are very loose.
Three planes of existence is a Buddhist kind of cosmology. When the text would describe the Mount kind of main root in the middle, and then there would be 4 continents, and it would be surrounded by kind of mountains and ocean, those sort of things. And then the text will also explain about hell, scary kind of figures. So it's is rooted in Thai culture.
Since here they have this opportunity to really use like a real spiritual attitude towards the construction of the spaces that in the end are shaping the composition of society. Shopping malls.
Go through like 10 different buildings, but it's connected, and along the way it's an elevated park. So you have nature, and away from the cars and the traffic, and it's higher up. It's a good idea. I'd like to see more of that in Bangkok. I'd like to see elevated public space.
Big trees, like 100 years old tree, without the root. And these people, they are the specialists who would transport that huge tree to the city. It's very, very interesting because the city doesn't need trees, no? But they introduce it to make the arrangement, the relation between like this kind of natural kind of objects and the street. Everyday life. Instead of introducing the trees to the city, in Thailand, it's the opposite. Bangkok means like the water hamlet of the wild palm tree. So there used to be forest kind of here, and then the city kind of came after. And you can see in the names of different districts in Bangkok, like Bang Lampu, Bang is the water hamlet, and then the name after tended to be the name of the tree. But right now, there's no tree any longer. The city kind of took over. It's a fake tree. But sometimes they try to attach real things, like flower or whatever, like in it. It looks so bizarre. So this topic is super interesting for me. They crave for something, even though it's fake, but they... Why? I'm wondering. Is that because of... They take it as the kind of architectural elements? They take it in, like trees, the fake trees in department store, because they want to blur, like the boundary. Or why is it that they trying to achieve? Huge, they call it what, like green wall. They have the huge wall of trees. It means that you have to have money, a lot of money, and it may be that, well, it's it's a performance maybe of magic, you know, like you can achieve this.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing this, right? I don't mind seeing new development in terms of nature. I don't mind seeing how creative people become in terms of creating this new artificial nature, right? It's real. It's just not the same way we're used to seeing it. Now there's nature on the 35th floor of a building, like as a private park, but you have to go to that building and you have to ride the elevator up really high and then you can see a private park. I don't mind that. I mean, I think that's nice and creative, but I do have a problem with accessibility, with how it's limited to a certain group of people. Not everybody can access this, right? Not everybody can just go into Emport here and see this waterfall. And so my point of view is, yeah, I hope that somebody, eventually, on someday, somebody actually realized that, yeah, I mean, this is where we're going to go. Yes, we're going to become more vertical, yes. But let's do it in a better way. Let's make it more accessible to everybody. Let's make sure that, you know, it doesn't take you an hour and a half just to get to the nearest park. Or it takes you 2 hours to get home each evening because you're just spending your everyday life in commuting, in a car, or in a train, or on a road. And you know, today, Bangkok, the air quality index today is very bad today. We shouldn't be in the park today. There's a warning out that we shouldn't be in the park today.
Lots of malls are conceived as indoor cities, no? Yeah. With a specific urbanization. So in a sense, like some of them, they reproduce the conditions of like urban historical centers with alleys, tiny rows, or like it depends on the distribution of the stores, or for example how the different floors are connected. So they are trying to reproduce an urban condition. So what if, for example, those places are treated as an urban interior, so are treated as an accumulation of different buildings and streets, and so for each of the stores or every 10 stores there's a spear house inside the shopping mall. I don't know if you're following, but like that's the kind of, I feel it would be a very bold statement, and like in such a society I feel that if done in the proper way it would really be able to somehow create an effective clash in between popular and spiritual culture.
แต่ความเก๋ของห้างเนี้ยครับคือความยูนิคของร้านแต่ละร้านที่เราให้เขาตกแต่งอย่างแตกต่างด้วยมีเทเรียลที่ต่างกันเช่นwallpaper ตุ๊กตาซีลิงหรือว่าแบบพวกโดมอะครับที่ไม่ได้คอนเนคกับห้างเลยแล้วก็แม้แต่การจัดแสงเองนั่นแหละครับเป็นสิ่งที่ทำให้ดึงดูดนักท่องเที่ยวความสนใจและทำให้เขาเข้ามาที่ห้างแล้วก็มาช็อปแล้วก็spend money แล้วก็ทำให้ห้างเนี่ยได้รายได้เยอะมากขึ้นค่ะ
It's a mixture of things, of shops, right? And I think Thai people love this. It's very kind of fun because you're searching for something.
ก็คือพวก surface เนี่ยก็เป็น pure infrastructure เลยซึ่งเราก็ให้แต่ละร้านเนี่ยตัดสินใจเองเลยว่าจะตกแต่งยังไงซึ่งนั่นแหละก็เป็นเสน่ห์อันสำคัญที่ทำรายได้มหาศาลเหมือนกับกลายเป็นถนนแห่งใหม่ของกรุงเทพค่ะก็คือซึ่งในตัวห้างเองเนี่ยก็ไม่ได้มีป้ายบอกอะไรมากมายเหมือนกับห้างอื่นซึ่งความซับซ้อนนี่แหละมันก็เลยทำให้คนดูเนี่ยได้เพลิดเพลินดื่มด่ำไปกับประสบการณ์การเดินห้างเหมือนกับการ peeling หอมๆแบบ layer to layer ให้แบบว่าได้ใช้เวลาไปในห้างนี้ครับอย่างเพลิดเพลินซึ่งมันก็เป็นเรื่องดีเพราะนั้นทำให้คนได้ใช้เวลา มากขึ้น
Where is everyday life in Siam Square, for example?
How does that place deal with spirituality or with the reenactment of some conditions? It's just like that place is a transition in between like two shopping malls. Of course very playful, of course very controlled, but I would say that has nothing to do, well, that's my opinion, but I would say it has nothing to do with spirituality.
It's just more fun because praying every day, going to the temple every day, believing in something that you can't see, you wanna believe in something you can see. I think that's what it is, right? I think that's what all these entertainment has come in and do for people. It's what you can see, it's what you can experience, it's what you can touch and feel. And it's making people feel like, okay, well I can feel this, so this feels more real to me. Maybe this is actually what I want. And it's the age of materialism where people want things rather than wanting to feel.
นั่นอาจจะเป็นเพราะว่าพวกเราเองหลงไหลกับความขมุกขมัวของimagination หรือว่า desire.
What's good about Bangkok is that like this playfulness in most of the cases is natural, and it's not only rooted in the aesthetic of things, but it's also rooted in the fact that people are messing up with those things in a natural way. And an amazing thing in here is that sometimes this moment of chaos, like messing up with things, of doing things that are apparently are random or are playful in the sense that it looks they're playing a game in Bangkok and in Thailand, and this is extraordinarily interesting. In Thailand, sometimes this moment they coincide with spiritual occasions that these would not happen in our Western world. So, since spirituality, a natural spirituality in Bangkok, in the urban environment of Bangkok, let's take again the example of spirit houses, this natural spirituality coincides with a genuine playfulness from an aesthetic and behavioral point of view. I feel that there's the opportunity to include this notion, this expanded notion of spirituality coinciding with genuine playfulness into shopping malls. So there's no need, in a way, it's almost to say, you know what, like there's no need for the illusion, there's no need for the special effects of staged reenactments. We could introduce the truly authentic urban substance of Bangkok inside the shopping mall, and we would obtain a very playful, still spiritual environment.